Hello, it's Philip Taylor speaking from Richmond Green Chambers. I'm looking at another book in a series from Jordan's, the publishers in Bristol, which is from an association with APIL, that's the Association of Personal Injury Lawyers. This is an important book because in the area of practice that I certainly have, when we're looking at the various personal injury types of action, one area which is always cropping up is the guide that we need to have to tripping and slipping cases. And this is the actual book that's being written. It's actually a book written by Charles Foster and Ben Bradley, both of them from Outer Temple Chambers and both of them barristers. The back of the book shows you a little bit about what they have to say, and there's quite a lot of case law, of course, which is very useful. Now, what I'm going to do is just show you what the book looks like. There's a useful foreword which sets out what the purpose of this book is, and in fact written by John McQuater, who was the president of APIL 2009 to 10, where he says injuries resulting from trips and slips are an important part of the work of most PI practitioners. And as the introduction to this book observes, the lawyer faces a number of challenging problems in identifying the appropriate defendant. Obviously a lot of the defendants are going to be public organisations. This is the actual book itself, and you've got a structure where you have paragraph numbering, which is useful at these sides. We don't actually in this book have footnotes, because what you've got is a very substantial amount of case law which is actually listed there, and you've also got right at the front what I think is a very detailed contents section. You then move into the main areas, which is to look at the actual problems: selecting the defendant, the definition, classification and creation of highways, of course that's the main area, structure of local government, statutory duties of highway authorities to maintain. Then you've got negligence, nuisance, the liability of occupiers, the liability of landlords, miscellaneous statutory duties, preparing a case. That's very helpful indeed for, I think, both solicitors and members of the bar, perhaps even on public access cases. Then you have a detailed appendix which is covering precedents, case summaries, risk assessments, CPR and so forth. The back of the book has a very useful index which I found quite helpful. This book is a little bit older than some of the more recent publications from Jordan's. One thing that is useful, because we always do rely very much on photographs, so I think you've got a good idea from these photographs of the sort of problems which can be faced with a lot of people. Let me sum this up by using what they say in the back of it. Tripping and slipping cases form a large part of the typical PI lawyer's practice. Not all cases are straightforward. Many involve complex questions of law. Now that's one of the areas which I think is quite important, because we do have from OUP the guide to the award of the JSP guide to the award of general damages in PI actions, and of course tripping and slipping cases are looking quite often at things which start off perhaps as sprains and become something far worse, a little bit like the sort of problems one might have with neck injuries in car crashes and so forth. Anyway, can I thank Jordan's and the authors very much indeed for this, because the APIL publications are in themselves extremely invaluable for what we do in practice today. Thank you to all concerned. Bye-bye.